Humanity has looked up at the night sky since ancient times. They saw gods in the shining stars, read their destiny, learned the seasons, and set their course across the seas. What will be told from here is the story of those pioneers. The dreams they held toward the universe, and how they turned those dreams into form. We will trace the long road that humanity took before it left the blue earth. For the people of ancient times, the stars were the very realm of the gods. From that mythical age, the one who first gave the universe an ordered structure was Ptolemy. In the geocentric model he proposed, the Earth stood motionless at the center of the cosmos. People believed the Earth was fixed in place, while the sun, moon, planets, and stars revolved around it. It seemed impossible to imagine that the Earth itself was moving. Furthermore, Aristotle's teachings reinforced that the heavy Earth must rest at the center of the universe. Everyday intuition and scholarly authority overlapped, and the idea of an unmoving Earth became unshakable common sense. This worldview spread not only across Europe but also into the Islamic world and China. And for more than 1,400 years, it defined humanity's understanding of the universe. In the 1590s, as Renaissance art swept across Europe, one man moved the very common sense of the cosmos. His name was Copernicus. Born in Poland, he was a cleric, a scholar, a physician, and even an administrator. Yet throughout his life, he never stopped gazing at the stars. He believed that Ptolemy's geocentric model had lost the harmony of the cosmos, and that the universe created by God must be simpler and more beautiful. Copernicus proposed that placing the sun at the center made the planet's motions astonishingly natural. And so he advanced the heliocentric theory. A new perspective was born: the Earth was not the center of the universe. The man who confirmed Copernicus's vision through observation was Galileo Galilei. In 1610, Galileo turned his telescope toward Jupiter and discovered 4 small points of light orbiting it. Clear evidence that not everything revolved around the Earth. But the Church resisted. Galileo was put on trial and forced to renounce the heliocentric view. It is said that he murmured the words, "And yet it moves." This revolution in observation would pave the way for Newtonian mechanics. In the 17th century, in an English garden, young Isaac Newton wondered, why does an apple fall straight to the ground? Perhaps pendulums, falling stones, and ocean tides all followed one common law. He saw nature as something governed by principles and sought to describe it through mathematics. He realized that the force pulling the apple downward was gravity, the force of attraction. And he went further: the force that pulls the apple also governs the moon. Newton believed this was true not only on Earth but also among the celestial bodies. And he presented gravity as one of the universal principles that explain the cosmos. The classic illustration known as Newton's cannon shows his idea. If you fire a cannon from a mountaintop, the path of the cannonball changes depending on its speed. If it's too slow, it falls to the ground. If faster, it may continue circling the Earth. He reasoned that if an object moved fast enough horizontally while pulled by gravity, it could circle the Earth indefinitely without falling. This mechanical insight would one day inspire the idea of artificial satellites, and eventually, the development of rockets. At the end of the 19th century, in a small Russian town, a man began to chart the road to space through equations. His name was Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, remembered as the father of space travel. He wondered, how could a rocket reach space? Expelling fuel gives thrust, but too much fuel adds weight. What matters is the ratio of a rocket's mass at launch to its mass after the fuel is spent. That ratio determines the achievable speed, and if it is high enough, it can overcome Earth's gravity. Thus, was born the rocket equation, the foundation of all future spaceflight. He also envisioned multistage rockets and orbital stations. A future where efficient propulsion and human bases in space became possible. Tsiolkovsky was both mathematician and dreamer, humanity's first philosopher of space. As time moved on, in the 1930s, rocket development advanced under Nazi Germany. Engineers led by Wernher von Braun created the V-2 rocket as a weapon. After World War II, the rocket technology born in Germany was absorbed by the victorious nations, the United States and the Soviet Union. Von Braun moved to America. The V-2 rocket reached an altitude of 100 kilometers. The only machine that ever touched the threshold of space. Yet, it still lacked the thrust, precision, and stability to fully escape Earth's gravity. The man who took up that challenge was Sergei Korolev, the Soviet chief designer. He clustered engines for greater thrust, strengthened structures, and introduced precise guidance systems. And then came the moment that changed the world. October 4, 1957. The multistage R-7 rocket, designed by Korolev and his team, carried the world's first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, and launched it into space. The rocket shed its boosters step by step, and just 5 minutes and 47 seconds after liftoff, placed Sputnik 1 into orbit. Sputnik 1 was an aluminum sphere about 58 centimeters wide and weighing 84 kilograms, with 4 antennas that sent beeping signals back to Earth. It transmitted for 21 days until its batteries died. And after orbiting the planet for a total of 92 days, it re-entered the atmosphere and burned up. In the Soviet Union, the success was hailed as a triumph over the United States. And people rejoiced. For the first time, humanity had sent something into space. Meanwhile, the United States, long confident it would be first, felt deep anxiety and humiliation as the Soviet Union satellite soared during the Cold War. This moment became known as the Sputnik crisis, and the US rushed to regain its national pride. Soon after, the Vanguard project, expected to be flawless, exploded just after launch. A blow to American morale. But von Braun's Army team succeeded with Explorer 1, creating America's first satellite. That same year, NASA was founded. And then, in 1961, the time finally came for a human to fly into space. His name was Yuri Gagarin, a young pilot of the Soviet Union. From childhood, his heart had longed for the universe. Even in a village devastated by World War II. He grew up holding on to that dream. In time, the boy who once marveled at fighter planes would become an Air Force pilot. His clear eyes, sincere smile, and calmness in any situation were said to be the decisive reasons he was chosen as the first human astronaut. At that time, the Soviet Union was in the midst of the Cold War, and its motivation was to conquer space before the United States. April 12, 1961. Baikonur Cosmodrome, Kazakhstan. At the top of the huge R-7 rocket sat Vostok 1. And inside it, Gagarin sat quietly. A roaring sound echoed across the launch pad. Gagarin shouted, "Let's go!" And the historic moment began. His challenge was not only to reach space. Would the human body function beyond the Earth? Could one endure weightlessness? Could the mind remain steady in a closed capsule? Would communication with Earth hold? And could one return safely home? In that mission, Gagarin orbited the Earth once in 108 minutes. Endured the heat and acceleration during re-entry. And was finally ejected by his escape system, descending to the ground by parachute. He became the first human in history to fly into space. And when, in the silence of weightlessness, he looked down upon the Earth spreading beneath him, he left behind the words that would echo through history. The Earth is blue. Ptolemy gave order to the universe. Copernicus moved the center of the universe. Galileo confirmed it through observation. Newton explained it through mechanics. Tsiolkovsky drew the future with equations. Von Braun launched the great rockets. Korolev delivered satellites into orbit. And Gagarin, he ventured into the cosmos and saw the blue earth with his own eyes. The longing that began beneath the mythical night sky took shape through science and technology, and at last became reality.